They do not fear your strength, they fear the moment you learn to focus it. Because a man with locked attention is a man who cannot be manipulated, cannot be distracted, and cannot be stopped. And the world, the system, the noise, the endless scroll of meaningless information was built specifically to prevent you from ever reaching that state. They wake up distracted. They go to sleep distracted. And somewhere between those two moments, they wonder why their life looks exactly the same as it did 5 years ago. That is not an accident. That is the result of a scattered mind operating in a world specifically designed to keep you unfocused, overwhelmed, and easy to control. Because here is what the powerful have always known. A man who cannot control his attention cannot control his life. And a man who cannot control his life is not a man. He is a resource. He is raw material. He is fuel for someone else's empire. Machiavelli understood this before the modern world even existed. He saw that the men who rose to dominance were not always the strongest, not always the smartest, not always the most talented. They were the ones who could lock their mind onto a single target and hold it there, cold, steady, and unmoved, while the world burned around them. That is the kind of focus we are building today. Not productivity tips, not morning routines. We are talking about a psychological weapon so sharp it cuts through noise, through distraction, through weakness, through every force in this world that tries to pull you off your path. This is not for everyone. Most people will hear this and nod along and do nothing. But the man who truly absorbs what I am about to tell him, he becomes something different. He becomes dangerous. He becomes untouchable. Drop the word locked in the comments if you're ready to build a mind that nothing in this world can break. Number 2. The enemy lives inside your own mind. Before you can destroy every external obstacle standing between you and dominance, you must first confront the one enemy that has been sabotaging you from the inside, your own undisciplined mind. This is the truth that most men refuse to face, because it is far more comfortable to blame the economy, blame the circumstances, blame the people around you, than it is to sit in silence and admit that the chaos outside is simply a reflection of the chaos within. Machiavelli did not waste time pointing fingers at the world. He studied it, understood it, and then positioned himself above it. That is exactly what you must do. Your mind right now is a battlefield. Every single day, thousands of inputs are competing for your attention, notifications, opinions, fears, regrets, desires, distractions dressed up as opportunities. And every time you surrender your focus to one of them, you hand over a piece of your power. Not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly, quietly. The way a man bleeds out from a wound he does not even realize he has. And this is what makes mental distractions so lethal. It does not feel like destruction. It feels like living. It feels like staying informed, staying connected, staying entertained. But what it is actually doing is keeping you permanently reactive, permanently on the surface of your own life, never deep enough to build anything that truly matters. The Machiavellian mind operates differently. It does not react. It does not chase. It does not get pulled into every storm that passes through. It observes. It calculates. It selects with surgical precision what deserves its energy and what gets nothing. Because attention is not just a mental resource. It is currency. It is power. Every second you spend consuming meaningless content, feeding dead-end conversations, or drowning in worry about things outside your control is a second you have spent that you will never recover. The cold truth is this: the man who masters his internal world becomes immune to the external one. When your mind is disciplined, focused, and locked onto a singular vision, external chaos cannot touch you. People can talk, markets can shift, circumstances can change. And you will stand in the middle of all of it, completely unmoved, because your power does not come from the outside. It comes from the iron discipline you have built within. That is not motivation. That is not inspiration. That is Machiavellian psychology applied to the architecture of your own mind. And once you build it, nothing in this world can take it from you. Number 3. The Machiavellian secret to unbreakable focus. Machiavelli wrote that the wise man does not leave things to chance. He creates conditions for victory before the battle even begins. And the most powerful condition you will ever create is this: a mind so singularly focused that opportunity has no choice but to find you, and opposition has no chance but to fall before you. This is not philosophy. This is strategy. And strategy begins with one brutal, uncomfortable decision: deciding what you are willing to cut. Because focus is not about adding more discipline to your life. It is about removing everything that does not serve the singular vision you are building toward. Most men fail at focus, not because they are lazy, but because they are divided. They are running 3 goals at once, maintaining relationships that drain them, consuming content that numbs them, and then wondering why they feel no momentum. A blade does not cut with its entire body. It cuts with its edge. And your edge is sharpened only through ruthless elimination. The Machiavellian approach to focus is not gentle. It does not ask you to balance everything and find harmony. It asks you to identify the one thing that, if achieved, would make every other area of your life fall into place, and then pursue it with the kind of cold, relentless obsession that makes ordinary men uncomfortable to be around. Because when you become truly focused, you change. Your energy shifts. Your conversations become shorter. Your tolerance for nonsense drops to 0. You stop laughing at things that waste your time. You stop engaging with people who are going nowhere. And the world around you will notice this change, and many of them will not like it. They will call you cold. They will call you arrogant. They will say you have changed. And they will be right. You have changed. You have stepped out of the herd and into something far more powerful, a life directed entirely by your own will. This is what Machiavelli saw in the great rulers, the great generals, the great strategists of history. They were not loved by everyone. They were not understood by everyone. But they were never, ever defeated by distraction. They moved through the world like a blade through water, clean, precise, and completely undisturbed by the resistance around them. That is the identity you are building right now. Not a man who tries to focus, a man who is focus. A man whose mere presence signals to the world that he is operating on a level that most will never reach. Cold, calculated, completely untouchable. Comment blade right now if you are ready to cut everything that is slowing you down. Number 4. How the powerful protect their attention. Study every powerful man who has ever walked this earth, and you will find one habit they all share. They guard their attention like it is the most valuable asset they own. Because it is. Not their money, not their network, not their talent, their attention. The direction of a man's focus is the direction of his destiny. And the men who understood this, the conquerors, the builders, the architects of empires, they did not allow the world open access to their mind. They built walls, not physical walls, psychological walls, invisible barriers that determined who could reach them, what information could enter, and what demands on their energy would be entertained. Machiavelli called this the art of selective engagement, knowing precisely when to be present and when to be completely unreachable. In the modern world, this has become a radical act, because today everything is designed to breach those walls. Your phone is engineered by some of the most sophisticated minds on the planet with one singular goal: to capture your attention and hold it hostage. Social media platforms are built on behavioral psychology, dopamine loops, and algorithmic manipulation specifically designed to make disengagement feel impossible. The news cycle is architected to keep you in a permanent state of low-grade anxiety, Because an anxious man is a consuming man, and a consuming man is a controlled man. And while the average person scrolls, reacts, and drowns in this engineered chaos, the Machiavellian mind has already stepped back, seen the system for exactly what it is, and made a cold, calculated decision to opt out. Protecting your attention begins with a single act of ruthless honesty, auditing everything that currently has access to your mind. Every app, every person, every conversation, every habit, every environment. And asking one question about each of them. Does this sharpen me, or does this dull me? There is no middle ground. Everything in your life is either contributing to your focus, or it is stealing from it. And once you see it that way, once you stop being sentimental about distractions and start treating them as threats, your entire relationship with your own time and energy transforms completely. You stop being available to everyone. You stop responding instantly. You stop attending every gathering, engaging every argument, and explaining your decisions to people who have no stake in your success. You become selectively invisible, strategically unreachable. And in that silence, in that protected space where your attention is finally yours and yours alone, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your mind sharpens, your vision clarifies, your output doubles, and the version of you that was buried under years of distraction finally begins to emerge, cold, focused, and completely unstoppable. Number 5. The psychology of laser focus, how it rewires your identity. Here is what nobody tells you about building real, unbreakable focus. It does not just change what you do, it changes who you are. At the neurological level, at the psychological level, at the very core of your identity, sustained and disciplined focus rewires the architecture of your mind in ways that most men will never experience, because most men never commit long enough to feel it happen. And this is where Machiavellian psychology separates itself from every motivational concept you have ever consumed. It does not ask you to feel inspired. It does not ask you to believe in yourself. It asks you to act with discipline long enough and consistently enough that your brain has no choice but to restructure itself around that discipline, until focus is no longer something you practice, but something you are. Neuroscience has confirmed what the great strategists of history understood intuitively. The mind strengthens in the direction it is repeatedly pointed. Every time you resist distraction, you are not just winning a small battle. You are casting a vote for the identity of a focused man. Every time you return to your work when everything in you wants to escape, you are not just being productive. You are training your nervous system to associate discomfort with power rather than danger. Every time you sit in silence instead of reaching for your phone, you are reclaiming a piece of your mind that the modern world had colonized without your permission. And over time, not overnight, not in a week, but over months of cold, consistent, unglamorous discipline, something shifts. The pull of distraction weakens. The noise of the outside world becomes quieter. Your threshold for meaningless stimulation rises so high that the things that once consumed hours of your day now hold zero power over you. You become psychologically hardened against the very weapons the world uses to keep ordinary men small and controllable. But the identity shift goes even deeper than that. When a man builds laser focus, he begins to carry himself differently. There is a stillness to him that unsettles people who are used to chaos. There is a certainty in his movements that signals to every room he enters that this man knows exactly where he is going and exactly what he is willing to do to get there. He does not seek validation because he is no longer operating from a place of insecurity. He does not argue unnecessarily because he does not need the world to agree with him to move forward. He has become internally governed, and an internally governed man is the most dangerous kind of man alive, because you cannot manipulate someone whose sense of direction comes entirely from within. Machiavelli understood that true power is never loud. It is never desperate. It is never reactive. True power is the man in the room who speaks least and influences most. The man who moves slowly because he has already calculated 3 steps ahead. The man whose focus is so complete, so consuming, so absolute that the world bends toward him rather than him bending toward the world. That man is not born. He is built. Deliberately. Ruthlessly. One focused day at a time. Drop Rewired in the comments right now if you can feel this shifting something inside you. Number 6. The dark side of focus. What you must be willing to sacrifice. Nobody who has ever built something extraordinary did it without loss. And this is the part of the conversation that the self-help world deliberately avoids, because it is not comfortable, it is not sellable, and it will not get applause. But it is the truth. And the Machiavellian mind deals only in truth, regardless of how brutal that truth happens to be. Real focus demands sacrifice. Not the romanticized, cinematic kind of sacrifice where you give up something small and the universe rewards you immediately. The real kind. The cold, silent, unglamorous kind where you walk away from people you care about, opportunities that look attractive, versions of yourself that feel familiar, and comforts that have become so deeply embedded in your daily life that removing them feels like cutting off a limb. And you do it anyway. Because the man who is unwilling to sacrifice for his vision does not actually have a vision. He has a wish. And wishes belong to the weak. Machiavelli was unambiguous on this point. He wrote that a man must be prepared to do what is necessary, not what is comfortable, not what is popular, not what preserves his relationships and his reputation and his sense of being liked, but what is necessary. And when it comes to building the kind of focus that makes you untouchable, what is necessary is often what is most difficult. It means ending friendships that have become anchors. Not dramatically, not with conflict, simply withdrawing your energy from people who are consuming it without contributing to it. The man who surrounds himself with distracted, directionless, complaining individuals will inevitably absorb their psychology, no matter how disciplined he believes himself to be. Environment is not background. Environment is input. And every input shapes your output. It means killing your need for constant entertainment. The modern man has been conditioned to fear silence, to fill every empty moment with noise, to treat stillness as something that must be escaped rather than something that must be cultivated. But silence is where strategy lives. Silence is where your most powerful thinking happens. Silence is where the Machiavellian mind sharpens itself against the friction of its own depth. The moment you stop fearing silence and start using it, you have already separated yourself from 90% of the population. It means accepting that your transformation will be misunderstood by the people closest to you. As you become more focused, more disciplined, more ruthlessly selective with your time and energy, the people around you who have not made that same commitment will feel the distance growing. They will interpret your discipline as coldness. They will interpret your silence as arrogance. They will interpret your refusal to be distracted as a personal rejection. And here is the Machiavellian response to all of that. Let them. Your loyalty is to your vision, not to the comfort of people who have chosen to remain stagnant. You cannot carry passengers on the path to power. Every man who has ever risen to a level of genuine dominance made this same silent, painful, necessary choice at some point. The choice to prioritize his becoming over his belonging, to choose his future self over his current relationships, to accept the loneliness of the ascent as the price of the view from the top. This is not cruelty. This is not selfishness. This is the oldest and most honest law of power that has ever existed. You cannot become extraordinary while living an ordinary man's life. Something must go, and the focused man, the Machiavellian man, makes that decision with clarity, with coldness, and without apology. Number 7. The silent warfare of a focused mind. Understand this. The moment you commit to building laser focus, you have declared war. Not a war with weapons, not a war with words, a silent war. An invisible war fought entirely within the boundaries of your own mind, your own habits, your own daily decisions. And like every war, it will test you in ways you did not anticipate, push you to edges you did not know existed, and demand from you a level of psychological endurance that will separate the men who talk about power from the men who actually possess it. Because focus at the highest level is not a peaceful state. It is a battlefield condition. It is the mental equivalent of holding a position under fire, staying locked, staying cold, staying committed while every internal and external force screams at you to retreat, to relax, to give yourself a break, to just this once allow the distraction in. And the weak man listens to that voice. The Machiavellian man silences it. Machiavelli wrote that the greatest victories are won not on the battlefield, but in the mind of the commander before the battle even begins. The man who has already decided, truly decided, not hoped, not intended, but decided with the cold finality of a man who has burned every alternative. That man has already won. Because decision at that level creates a psychological state that distraction simply cannot penetrate. It is not willpower. Willpower is fragile, emotional, and exhaustible. What we are talking about is something far more powerful: identity. When you no longer see focus as something you are trying to maintain, but as something you fundamentally are, the internal warfare changes completely. You are no longer fighting against distraction. You are simply refusing to engage with something that has no relevance to who you are. A lion does not exercise willpower to avoid eating grass. It simply has no interest in it. That is the psychological state you are building toward. And to get there, you must understand the tactics the enemy uses against you. Because this silent war has real enemies with real strategies. The first is comfort. Comfort is the most sophisticated weapon ever deployed against human potential, because it does not feel like an attack. It feels like reward. It whispers that you have worked hard enough, that you deserve rest, that one distraction will not hurt, that tomorrow you will be more disciplined. And tomorrow never comes, because tomorrow comfort whispers the exact same thing. The second enemy is comparison. In the age of social media, comparison has become a psychological weapon of mass destruction. The moment you begin measuring your internal progress against someone else's external performance, you have surrendered your focus to a battle that was never yours to fight. The Machiavellian mind does not look sideways. It does not benchmark itself against other men. It moves forward along its own trajectory with the kind of singular certainty that makes comparison not just irrelevant, but invisible. The third enemy is premature satisfaction, the dangerous moment when early results make you believe the work is done. History is filled with men who built momentum, felt the first taste of progress, and then loosened their grip just enough to lose everything they had gained. The focused man treats every result, no matter how significant, as simply the new starting point. There is no finish line in the mind of a man who has chosen dominance as a permanent state of being. He does not celebrate in ways that soften him. He acknowledges, adjusts, and advances. Always forward, always colder, always sharper, always more dangerous than the version of himself that existed yesterday. Comment silent war if you have decided that nothing will pull you off your path. Number 8. The Machiavellian daily architecture of an unstoppable mind. Every empire in history was built on structure. Not inspiration, not passion, not the kind of burning motivation that arrives some mornings and disappears by afternoon. Structure. Deliberate, cold, non-negotiable structure that operated regardless of how the builder felt, regardless of what the weather was, regardless of what chaos was unfolding in the world outside the walls. And your mind, your focus, your power, your psychological dominance is no different. It must be architected. It must be engineered with the same precision and intentionality that a general applies to a military campaign, because that is exactly what your daily life is. A campaign. A series of strategic moves executed consistently over time with a singular objective, the complete and total conquest of your own potential. Machiavelli understood that the prince who left his days to chance was a prince who would eventually be consumed by chance. Structure is not a cage. Structure is armor. And the man who builds his days with Machiavellian precision becomes immune to the entropy that destroys ordinary men. So let us talk about what that architecture actually looks like in practice, because this is where philosophy becomes power and theory becomes transformation. It begins before the world wakes up. The first moments of your day are the most psychologically vulnerable and the most strategically valuable moments you will ever have access to. In those first minutes, before the noise begins, before the notifications flood in, before the demands of other people colonize your attention, your mind is in a rare state, quiet, malleable, and completely open to direction. The man who fills that space with intention owns his entire day. The man who fills it with his phone has already surrendered. Before you consume anything, any content, any conversation, any external input of any kind, you must feed your mind its mission for the day. Not a long list of tasks, not an overwhelming agenda. One primary objective. The single most important thing that, if completed today, moves your vision forward in a meaningful and irreversible way. Write it, state it, lock it in, and then build your entire day around protecting your ability to execute it. The Machiavellian architect of his own day operates in blocks of deep, uninterrupted focus, not the shallow, multitasking, perpetually distracted kind of work that most men call productivity, but the kind of singular immersion where hours pass like minutes because your entire cognitive capacity is funneled into one channel with zero leakage. This is where your greatest work lives. Not in the scattered 2-minute intervals between distractions, but in the long, protected, silent stretches where your mind can finally operate at the depth it was designed for. Guard these blocks with the ferocity of a man protecting his most valuable asset, because that is precisely what they are. Beyond the work itself, the Machiavellian daily architecture extends to the inputs you allow into your mind throughout the day. Every piece of content you consume, every conversation you engage in, every environment you place yourself in is either calibrating your mind toward power or pulling it toward mediocrity. The focused man is ruthlessly editorial about all of it. He reads what sharpens him. He speaks with people who challenge him. He places himself in environments that demand his best rather than excuse his worst. He ends his day with the same intentionality with which he began it, reviewing what was executed, identifying what must be improved, and setting the psychological stage for tomorrow's campaign before sleep claims him. Because rest for the Machiavellian man is not escape. It is recovery with purpose. It is the strategic recharging of a weapon that will be deployed again tomorrow with even greater precision than it was today. This is not a routine. This is a war plan. And the man who follows it every single day without exception, without negotiation, and without apology does not just build focus. He builds an architecture of dominance so deeply embedded in his daily existence that success stops being a possibility and starts being the only logical outcome. Number 9. When the world tries to break your focus, how to become unbreakable. There will come a moment, and if you are truly committed to this path, that moment will come sooner than you expect, when everything around you seems to conspire against your focus at the same time. Not one obstacle, not one distraction, everything, simultaneously. Your plans will fracture. People you trusted will disappoint you. Results you worked for will not arrive on the timeline you calculated. The vision that felt so clear and so certain just weeks ago will suddenly feel distant, unrealistic, and possibly delusional. And in that moment, that specific, brutal, defining moment, the difference between the man who becomes legendary and the man who becomes ordinary will not be determined by his talent, his resources, or his connections. It will be determined entirely by his ability to hold his focus when holding it feels completely impossible. This is the crucible. This is where Machiavellian psychology stops being an intellectual concept and becomes a survival mechanism. Because Machiavelli did not write about power from a position of comfort. He wrote about it from exile. He wrote about it after losing everything: his position, his influence, his freedom, his entire world stripped away by circumstances beyond his control. And what did he do in that darkness? He focused. He wrote. He built. He transformed his lowest moment into his most powerful work and produced a body of thought that has shaped the minds of rulers, strategists, and conquerors for 5 centuries. That is not inspiration. That is a blueprint. The unbreakable man is not the man who never gets hit. He is the man who has developed such a deeply rooted relationship with his own focus that external chaos cannot sever it. And that relationship is built long before the crisis arrives, in the quiet, ordinary, unglamorous days when nothing is going wrong and discipline feels unnecessary. The man who only focuses when circumstances are favorable is not focused. He is comfortable. And comfort is not a foundation. It is a trap. To become truly unbreakable, you must understand that every disruption to your focus is not a punishment. It is a test of identity. When life fractures your plans, it is asking you a single question: do you actually believe in this vision, or were you only committed to it when it was easy? The Machiavellian answer is always the same. Recalibrate. Refocus. Advance. Not with emotion. Not with desperation. With the cold, surgical composure of a man who understands that setbacks are simply data points that inform better strategy. You do not mourn the plan that failed. You extract the intelligence from its failure, and you build a sharper plan. You do not collapse under the weight of betrayal. You note it, file it, and restructure your inner circle with greater precision than before. You do not spiral into self-doubt when results are delayed. You tighten your execution, eliminate inefficiencies, and press forward with even greater discipline than you had before the delay. This is the psychological immune system of the Machiavellian man, the ability to process adversity not as a reason to stop, but as information that makes him more dangerous going forward. And over time, as you survive each test, as you hold your focus through each storm, as you emerge from each crucible sharper and colder and more certain than when you entered it, something profound begins to happen. You stop fearing disruption. You stop fearing failure. You stop fearing the opinions of people who abandoned you when your path became difficult. Because you have proven to yourself, not through words, not through affirmations, not through the empty rituals of manufactured confidence, but through the undeniable evidence of your own actions, that you cannot be broken. And a man who knows with absolute certainty that he cannot be broken does not just have focus. He has become something that this world has no weapon against. He has become completely, permanently, devastatingly untouchable. Comment unbreakable right now if you have decided that no force in this world will ever stop you. Number 10. You are now a different man. Go build your empire. You have made it to the end of this, and that alone tells me something about you. Because most men clicked away. Most men got uncomfortable when the truth got too real, too cold, too demanding. But you stayed. And staying, when everything in the modern world is engineered to pull you away, is itself an act of focus. So understand what has happened here. You did not just watch a video. You sat with a philosophy that has shaped conquerors, outlasted empires, and survived centuries, because it is built on something that never changes, the absolute, unconditional power of a mind that refuses to be broken. Everything we covered, the silent war, the sacrifices, the daily architecture, the identity shift, the unbreakable composure under pressure, none of it is theory. All of it is a blueprint. Your blueprint. The only question that remains is whether you will fold it up, put it in a drawer, and return to the life that was slowly consuming you, or whether you will pick it up, internalize every word, and begin building the version of yourself that this world has not yet seen. A man with laser focus is not a man who tries harder. He is a man who has fundamentally changed what he is. Cold, deliberate, immovable, unstoppable. That man is you, if you choose it. Starting today, starting now, drop "I am unstoppable" in the comments and mean every single letter of it. If this video moved something in you, if it shifted your mindset even 1 degree toward power, hit that like button, subscribe to Machiavellian Mind, and turn on notifications so you never miss a weapon we hand you. The empire starts now.